We are back now, and we are going to do a keynote presentation first before we resume with the panel discussions. It's from our friends from No Fluff Jobs. Actually, they brought all these cool things that you can see on the table, those things that you can cover your laptop's webcam. I think that's the smartest gadget that we ever had at the conference, and really useful for everyone. So I would like to invite on stage the next keynote speaker. He's really nervous, Maciek. So come on stage. Yeah, they also provided the stress ball, so I've seen that he's using it. So here you go.
Thank you very much for this nice introduction and saying that I'm stressed. It makes me feel more comfortable right now. So my name is Maciej Stanicki-Łobacz. I'm running our IT team, our IT department in No Fluff Jobs, and I'm the main project manager for the IT company, for our IT department. And I work very closely with our product, so I thought that I will give you our thoughts on working with developers, working with developer teams, on product development, and mostly in terms of pragmatism, because we believe that pragmatism is a key for success in that matter. So basically, this slide was supposed to be this cool introduction on my position in a company. And yeah, I guess let's start with the main course. So, pragmatism. What do people know about pragmatism? And this is like a part where I would like you to take active part in this keynote and this presentation. So it would be great if you could scan this QR code and type down your answers on what's your first thoughts on pragmatism, on what is pragmatism, what does the pragmatism connect with in your mind. So you can scan the QR code, or you can go to menti.com and enter the code. The code presented 678799032. It would be great. I guess we can have 15 seconds more for joining. Okay, if you could switch for the next slide. Perfect. Okay, we see that there are 8 answers, 9 answers. 10 answers. Does any more answers are coming? 11. Let's give another 20 to 30 seconds more. 13. Okay, so I guess you could go for the results. Okay, not caring a lot, applied way of thinking, I like that one. Meeting realistic about what is achievable, great. Iterative discovery, testing, validation, and funding, very nice. Way of dealing with problems, reducing unnecessary factors, informed rational decisions, something logical based on facts, direct. Practical approach to solving a problem. Oh, this one is perfect. Actually, the next slide would be about it. Practical and realistic, making something or being practical. Rationality, ability to assess and process. If you could please scroll down. I guess you need to scroll with 2 fingers on a touchpad. Doing the thing that brings immediate results, realistic and sensible approach to things, the ability to be logical and sensible in decisions, and practical. Great. So now if I could please ask you to get back to the presentation. So if we look at the pragmatic persona, basically most of the answers that you provided are correct, are in a scope of what we prepared today. So first of all, this kind of person acts and thinks in a practical way, is focused on undertaking useful decisions based on practice, not only theory, puts practicality and usefulness over the aesthetics, design, and of course the design must be useful, but this practical way is more important, and concerns on the facts and output on the project. So now, if we deep dive more into the topic, the most crucial thing is like that pragmatism is based on the experience. It's based on the inquisitive and broad general knowledge. And what I think about these three main factors is that, for example, if a person goes for the conference or any other event or goes on a course, boot camp in terms of IT and so on, he doesn't implement the knowledge that he already gathered. He puts this knowledge into his general way of thinking and then considers if that's a good way to do so. So basically, all decisions based on the pragmatism approach are the decisions that are leveled through the factor of the knowledge gathered and the knowledge that was already with that person. Then we've got smart engineering approach, think in a critical way, and putting focus on the soft skills, because what's the matter of gaining all of these skills if you are not able to share them with your team, with the development team or any stakeholders in a company. So the first, like in our case and from my experience, most important factor is to accept imperfection, because like when you do work on a daily basis with the development teams, and I do work with development teams for 8 years right now, and developers always tend to create perfect solution, find a way of solving every technical aspect, like finding the best way, but they sometimes tend to forget about the delivering business value. And that's why we create products, basically. We create products to deliver business value, to create some feasible feature, something that is useful for some kind of stakeholder, for some kind of group of people. So it doesn't mean that you should deliver not working software or buggy, lagging, and something that is not working. But if the software is good enough for most of these users, maybe you should launch it already and test and see what's the reaction in the market. Because if you spend too much time on developing the perfect solution, then maybe you are going the wrong path. So basically, the first thought is to accept the imperfection. And here comes the Pareto rule that tells us that 20% of our inputs brings 80% of the outputs. So basically what that means is that, for example, 20 features in our products generates 80% of the revenue. Or putting this into other way, into other words, like 20% of car drivers generates 80% of accidents. So this rule is not only applicable into IT, into software development, but mostly into general business, let's say. And why I think it's important? Because like this 20% of a workload sometimes is the most important. It's always like very hard to start, it's always hard to finish, but the most important is that middle part when we are actually doing this thing and delivering value. Then, next pragmatic rule, of course, for people that works with Scrum, with agile methodologies, is to iterate as much as possible. Go for the small iterations, but make sure that every iteration brings this business value for the customers, for the people you work with. And these are more like programmatic rules that should be considered when you are creating the software architecture. So first of all is ETC, so easier to change. Next is keep it simple, stupid. Don't repeat yourself. You ain't gonna need it. And domain-driven design. And I would say that the first one is actually at the first place because easier to change. It's like a mother to all of the others, maybe not domain-driven design, but also it helps in that matter because it tells us and tells the developers, it tells the teams to create a software that is easy to change in the future, easy to onboard for a new team when they are taking over the old core, when they are going for the legacy project. And to fulfill this rule, it's very good to keep it simple, stupid. So basically, do it as easy as possible, as it will fulfill the need of a particular product. Don't repeat yourself. It means that when you are doing the software development, do not repeat the. It's like repeat the knowledge, but if something is doing something different, don't name it the same. So because then it will be way more harder to change it in the future, because you will have to change it in quite a few places, and every new person that will be joining our product, our company, would have a hard time to onboard into. And you ain't gonna need it. Actually, it's my favorite one. Basically, is when you are creating a product, when you are doing the product discovery phase, really focus on what you want to achieve, what are your goals, and do not go into like alternative paths of creating like millions of features that possibly may not even be used by your customers, because that's why you iterate. So you build a product at the beginning, and then you create additional feature based on the feedback from your users. Responsibility. This is also very, very important thing, because we are used to working in a teams that consist, for example, of front-end developers, back-end developers, product owners, product managers, quality assurance. And it happens a lot that people think that, okay, I did my part of a front-end layer, my colleague did some part of a back-end layer, some colleague from quality assurance team, testing department would test it, and let's hope it will work. No, like the whole team is responsible for delivering this part of a feature. So if you did that part, cooperate with your colleagues, let's call together, meet, and test if it really works, because like writing only code doesn't bring value for the company. So as you can see from this diagram from the methodology that was created by Basecamp, it's called ShapeUp. If you will look at your product as a cake, and you would like to take one part of that cake and imagine the layers of a cake as a front and back end, then if people are not aligned and they are not working together towards this goal, then basically you cannot achieve good pace of delivering the products, delivering the projects that you may achieve if people are actually taking responsibility about what they are achieving. Because normally like, well, what I saw a lot, it was like basically I did my part of feature X on the front end. I created a pull request, and this pull request was basically approved by some of my other colleagues, and nothing more is in my area of interest right now, because I did my part. No, you did not did your part. Your part is to create all of this feature all together. So that's why we need to cooperate as a teams. Perspective. That's another topic that is very, very, very important, because when especially technical teams are speaking with business teams, they have a different perspective on what we are doing. So basically, if there is a problem that needs to be tackled by the development team, by the product team, then sometimes like the team comes up with the solution, And the solution have certain value. But without the soft skills that we spoken at the very beginning about traits of the pragmatic person, if they're unable to reach out to the business itself and tell the value that's behind, then this perception of understanding goes, unfortunately, a way lower. So, and it works both ways. It also works with business departments working, telling like tech people what to do. So basically, you always need to make sure that we are aligned on what to achieve. And here is another question that I wanted to ask, because it puts some perspective. It's more like kind of a technical question, but let's just go for like thinking of what does the presented endpoint name can generate for the user. What's the value behind? So if you could, the same link should work as it did previously. So maybe we can like wait 15 seconds, 20 seconds if anyone needs to scan it one more time. Okay, I guess you can switch for the second screen now. Okay, so the question is, what can be generated by the endpoint data SK? We've got one answer right now. Let's wait a few more seconds for another ones. 2 answers. Okay, if we are not getting any more answers, then please show us the results. I have no idea processing the data. Yeah, basically, if you don't know the context, and it's hard to know the context in that matter, it does not say anything. Basically, it was an example from one of the production systems, and it means daily tasks. I don't know. I mean, I kind of find it that someone thought that DA is daily and then tasks. I mean, of course, tasks. But it's not understandable for Slovakian market data. Actually, the last one may be accurate, but not in this case. So if you could like go back to the presentation. So it's the same here. So for example, this is a case of measurement service for the portal. For the portal, let's have 2 stakeholders. Like on one side there are candidates, on the second side there are companies. So if you see, like for example, logged in or login model, it kind of gives you an idea of what you can expect from that. But it doesn't like rings the bell that much as it could. So if developer and development team and then product team or business team would cooperate more on that, and they will go for the names of like candidate logged in or login model displayed, then even the non-technical person or any business person is able to understand what's going on. And if we go even further and expand this into like informing, for example, in case of candidate logged in, what was the method of authorization of the user, whether it was Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, etc., and what was the name, what was the place where this user came from, it's really starting to give us useful insights on where our candidates, so let's say our customers, comes from, and maybe where should we put a stress on in developing our product further? And why is that important? It may look like a simple example, but this example shows that if you will do it in a way that is understandable for everyone, if you will export this data for the business team, it goes without saying, like everyone can understand it. And if you go for the example from Menti that I presented, like no one understands. Like you have to give broader context to that. And in that matter, I did a small research at the 2 previous keynotes that I was giving in Poland through the last year, and I researched about 200 people whether they think that pragmatic thinking and pragmatic way of working has positive effect on product development and the pace of product development. 86% of respondents told that definitely. And what's more funny, when we started the conference, it was more like project management oriented, and like people were, oh, we're just doing Scrum, we are doing Agile, we are following all of the other methodologies. Why you are speaking about pragmatism if we already have some methodologies? Because like pragmatism is not a methodology. Basically, it's a mindset that everyone should follow for the company to succeed, and to succeed in terms of definitely efficient product and IT development. And basically, that's the thought that I wanted to leave with you. And thank you very much for the attention and for inviting me here.